It's late. The lights are off, but your mind is still awake. You lie there in the quiet dark, and your thoughts begin their familiar dance, looping through memories, what-ifs, unfinished conversations, somewhere between today and tomorrow. You hover, awake, but tired. Maybe you replay something you said, wishing it had come out differently. Maybe you think about what you didn't do, what you still need to fix. Or maybe it's just the endless hum of worry, the gentle ache of wanting life to finally make sense. You stare at the ceiling, or maybe your eyes are already closed, and it feels like the weight of the day is pressing softly against your chest. You can feel it, can't you? That invisible heaviness that builds quietly over time. Every expectation, every plan, every tiny moment you tried to hold together. The world outside is silent now, but inside your mind, there's still noise. 1,000 little pieces of thought colliding, tumbling, refusing to rest. You think, why can't I just stop? You tell yourself, I need to let this go. But the mind doesn't obey commands. It keeps moving, searching, clinging, even when it's exhausted. You're not alone in this. So many of us live our nights like this, between letting go and holding on. We try to reason with our thoughts, to control what we feel, to manage every moment before it happens. But peace doesn't come from control. It comes from trust. Sometimes, the reason you can't sleep isn't because something is wrong with you, but because you've been trying too hard to carry what was never meant to be held so tightly. You've carried so many invisible weights: the need to be understood, the need to be enough, the need to make everything turn out right. And yet, in this stillness, something inside you already knows. You can rest, you can put it down, just for tonight. The breath enters, the breath leaves. You don't have to hold it. It knows where to go. It comes and goes without your control, and still, life continues. Maybe peace is like that too. For now, all you need to do is listen. Let the world soften around you. Let my voice be a small reminder that you don't need to fix anything to be worthy of rest. This is where it begins, the art of letting go. Why do we hold on so tightly? Why do we feel this endless need to manage, to plan, to make sure everything happens the way we want? Maybe it's because control feels safe. It gives us the illusion that we can protect ourselves from pain, from disappointment, from the unknown. If we can plan every outcome, maybe we won't be surprised. If we can predict what comes next, maybe we won't be hurt. But life doesn't follow our outlines, does it? Small pause. You might notice it in your work, the way you try to perfect every detail, every word, every move. You tell yourself it's responsibility, but somewhere deep down, it's also fear. Fear of being seen as less than capable, fear of being left behind, fear that without control, you'll somehow lose your worth. Or maybe you feel it in love, that quiet tension when you want someone to stay, when you try to read between every message, every silence, as if love were a puzzle that could be solved with enough effort. But love, like water, can't be held in a closed fist. The tighter we grip, the faster it slips away. And then there's the control we try to keep over ourselves, how we appear, how we're perceived, how we should be. We measure, compare, and shape ourselves according to invisible expectations. We say we're just trying to improve, But sometimes, it's not growth we're chasing, it's approval. Somewhere along the way, we began to believe that control equals safety. But what if it's the opposite? What if all this holding on is what keeps us restless, tense, and unable to breathe? Think about how exhausting it is to live like this, to constantly predict what might go wrong, to replay what already has, to try to manage the impossible rhythm of life. We crave control because unpredictability feels like chaos. But maybe life was never meant to be predictable. Maybe it was meant to be lived, not solved, not mastered, just experienced. There's a kind of peace that comes when we stop arguing with reality, when we stop asking, "Why is it like this?" and instead whisper, "Maybe this is exactly how it's meant to be, right now." We spend so much energy resisting what already is. We say, "I wish I could let go." But what we really mean is, "I wish I could let go without feeling unsafe." The truth is, you can't control life and feel peace at the same time. They can't coexist. The more you try to control, the tighter the mind coils. The tighter it coils, the harder it becomes to rest. What if the exhaustion you feel tonight, the heaviness in your chest, the overthinking, the quiet frustration, what if it isn't coming from the world at all? What if it's coming from the effort of trying to control it? You've been trying so hard, and it's okay. You learned to do that because you wanted to feel safe. But maybe safety isn't something you create by holding on. Maybe it's something you find by trusting enough to let go. Let's take a breath. Feel it rise and fall. You can't hold the breath. It teaches you how to let go. It comes and it goes, whether or not you try. Every moment you breathe is a reminder that life moves through you, not because of you. We often think of letting go as a kind of loss, like giving up something precious. But maybe letting go isn't about losing. Maybe it's about releasing the grip that's been keeping you from feeling free. Think of how the ocean waves move. They don't cling to the shore. They arrive, they break, they return. Every crest, every retreat is part of the same dance. No resistance, no holding, just flow. You've spent so long holding everything together. The plans, the fears, the memories, the people. But holding everything means you can't open your hands to receive anything new. When you loosen your grip, you make space for breath, for peace, for possibility. Letting go is not an ending. It's the beginning of a lighter way to live. When you let go, you're not saying, "I don't care." You're saying, "I trust." You're trusting that the world will keep spinning, even if you stop steering for a while. You're trusting that your worth doesn't vanish when things don't go as planned. You're trusting that life, messy, unpredictable, beautiful life, will keep unfolding whether or not you try to control it. Notice how the body already knows what to do when you stop forcing it. Your lungs expand on their own. Your heart beats without asking for permission. Your breath returns again and again, even when you forget to notice it. That's what surrender feels like, not defeat, but rhythm. There's a quiet strength in allowing things to be what they are. You don't have to fix the past tonight. You don't have to solve the future. All you need to do is breathe, one gentle wave at a time. Sometimes, The most courageous thing you can do is unclench your fists. Stop trying to hold what was never meant to stay. Let the thoughts drift like clouds crossing a vast blue sky. They come, they change shape, they move on. This is what freedom sounds like, not loud or dramatic, but spacious, a quiet room, a steady breath, the release of something you didn't realize you were gripping. And in that release, peace begins. It doesn't arrive suddenly. It seeps in, like morning light through thin curtains, gentle, patient, inevitable. So, as the music softens and the night settles deeper around you, let your breath remind you. You don't need to hold everything to be whole. You are allowed to rest now. You are allowed to trust the flow. You are allowed to let go. The night is quieter now. You can almost feel the edges of your mind begin to soften too. Thoughts slowing, space widening. For so long, we've lived by the illusion that control is what keeps us safe. That if we can plan it all, the work, the relationships, the timing, life will reward us with peace. But peace doesn't come from what we manage. It comes from what we allow. Think of how fragile our sense of control really is. One phone call, one word, one unexpected turn, and everything can change. And yet, most of us spend our days trying to bend the future into shape, as though life could ever fit neatly inside our expectations. We think control is power, but it's more like smoke. The tighter we grasp it, the faster it slips through our fingers. Maybe that's why the mind feels so tired tonight. Not because the world has been unkind, but because we've been asking it to obey us. Tomorrow never obeys us. No matter how carefully we plan, it moves according to its own rhythm. And yet, tonight, we can begin to rest, not by conquering it, but by no longer needing it to follow our will. Notice how the world keeps turning without you steering it. The stars keep burning, the tides keep shifting, the breath keeps flowing. Life doesn't need your control to continue. It simply asks for your presence. There's a strange relief in realizing that the future isn't yours to hold, because once you stop trying to hold it, you can finally touch this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this quiet now. You begin to see that maybe you were never meant to control the ocean, only to float, to feel the water carry you, to trust that even when you drift, you're still being carried somewhere gentle. So as this first part of our journey fades into silence, let yourself imagine the calm that comes when you no longer need to know what's next. You've been taught that control is strength, but maybe true strength is surrender, the courage to rest in uncertainty, and to know that peace doesn't wait for everything to go right. It begins the moment you stop fighting the flow. Tomorrow will come on its own. Tonight, you can let it go. There's a simple truth that we keep forgetting. We don't control the waves. We only learn how to surf them. From the moment we wake, our minds reach for control. We plan the day. We measure the hours. We try to make the unpredictable world move to our rhythm. But life doesn't listen. It never did. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus once said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." That's all of philosophy condensed into one sentence. We can't control events, only our response to them. We can't command the weather, the timing, the hearts of others, but we can choose how we meet what arrives. Buddhism teaches something similar, that suffering is born from attachment, from the belief that things should be different from what they are. When we cling to certainty, we create pain. When we loosen our grip, peace returns naturally, like water finding its level. And then there is Taoism, the art of flow, the way of harmony. Lao Tzu wrote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." In the Tao, control is seen as resistance, and resistance creates friction, but surrender creates movement, effortless and alive. Imagine a river. When you try to push against its current, it feels impossible. The water resists every effort. But when you turn and let it carry you, you discover the river isn't your enemy, it's your path. Control is that same resistance. It's the part of us that says, "I know how this should go." But life doesn't move by our design. It flows, bends, surprises, and rearranges. And maybe that's not chaos. Maybe that's beauty. We can't control the waves, only how we surf them. We can't choose the rhythm of the sea, only how we move with it. When the storm comes, we can fight the water and tire ourselves out, or we can learn to float, trusting that every wave will eventually break and fade. Control is not peace. It's a tension pretending to be strength. But once we see it for what it is, an illusion, we begin to loosen, to breathe, to live. And in that loosening, a new kind of freedom begins. There was once a person who wanted to understand peace. Everywhere they went, they heard people speak of letting go. But no one ever told them how. One evening, they walked to a river at dusk. The sky was painted with fading light, a quiet gold that turned the water into liquid glass. They knelt by the edge, dipped their hands into the current, and lifted the water slowly toward the light. It was cool, alive. They could feel the tiny movements, the shimmer of motion in their palms. But as they tried to hold it, even for just a moment, the water slipped away. They tried again, scooping more carefully this time, fingers curved tighter, palms pressed together, as if sheer will could keep the water from escaping. But no matter how hard they tried, the river always found a way through. The more they clenched, the faster the water fled. It spilled through the smallest spaces between their fingers, as if the river itself refused to be possessed. They sat there for a long while, watching the ripples form where the drops had fallen back. It was almost as if the river was teaching them something, without words, without effort. That's when it came to them, that control is like this. The more you try to hold life still, the faster it moves through your grasp, and the tighter you close your hands, the emptier they become. They looked down again. The river kept flowing, just as it always had, unaffected, uninterested in being held. And in that moment, they realized, peace doesn't come from holding the water. It comes from feeling it flow. To live is to touch the river, not to trap it, to let it cool your hands, to listen to its rhythm, to know that it continues even after you let it go. We do this with our lives, don't we? We try to hold time, people, moments, as though keeping them close could make them stay. But everything real has motion. The more alive something is, the more it refuses to be captured. Love moves, days pass. We change, again and again. Nothing meant to flow can be owned, but everything can be experienced. The person sat back and let their hands fall open in the water. This time, they didn't try to keep it. They just felt the current, cool, effortless, endless. And there, in the quiet dusk, something softened inside them. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't defeat. It was release, the kind that feels like truth. Control had never been peace. Peace was the river all along, always flowing, always here. And as they watched the water drift away, they finally understood. You can't lose what was never meant to be held. When you try to control the river, you suffer. But when you let it flow, you find peace. That's the truth, the water whispered, not just about rivers, but about life and work and love and every moment that ever asked you to trust. Control is what the mind does when it's afraid. It's the mind's way of saying, if I can manage this, maybe I won't get hurt. It promises safety, but delivers exhaustion. Because control isn't power, it's panic dressed as purpose. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle tightening in the body when something doesn't go as planned. The mind rushes to fix, to explain, to organize the chaos. But life isn't a spreadsheet. It's a storm, a sunrise, a song you can't predict the next note of. And that unpredictability, it scares us. Control says, I'll only be okay when everything goes my way. But influence says, I can meet whatever happens with grace. That's the difference. Influence is rooted in presence, in action, in choice, in alignment. Control is rooted in fear, in anxiety, in tightness, in the desperate need to fix what hasn't even broken. Influence is open hands. Control is clenched fists. One allows movement, the other resists it. When you move from control to influence, the world doesn't suddenly obey you, but it begins to respond to your calm. The same way water softens around an open palm, life softens around a mind that stops fighting it. We spend so much energy trying to manage every outcome, to sculpt life into our design. But every time we do, we lose touch with what's actually happening. We stop living this moment because we're too busy trying to fix the next one. And that's the root of anxiety, the gap between what we can control and what we wish we could. It's like standing on shifting sand, trying to demand that it stay still beneath your feet. It won't. It never has. And yet, it will always hold you if you stop struggling. What if peace isn't about mastering the world, but about surrendering the illusion that you ever could? You don't have to let go of life. You only have to let go of the illusion that you can make it obey you. That illusion is heavy. It's what keeps the mind awake at night, turning small worries into storms. But the moment you recognize it for what it is, just a story the mind tells itself, you can breathe again. Because the truth is, you were never meant to control everything. You were meant to experience it, to move through it, to influence it with kindness, with awareness, with care, and then to trust it, to move as it will. You don't need to hold the river, you just need to float. The current already knows the way. Let's slow everything down. The mind has traveled far tonight, through rivers, waves, and words. But now it's time to return. You've seen how the idea of control slipped through your hands like water. You've felt how it hardens into tension inside the body. But when you finally loosen your grip, even for a moment, something extraordinary happens. Space appears, breath returns, the heart softens. It's easy to think peace will come when everything outside you falls perfectly into place. When the work is done, when they understand you, when life finally stops changing. But peace doesn't come when life is perfect. It comes when you stop needing it to be. That's the truth hiding beneath all the noise. Peace isn't a prize for control. It's a companion of surrender. It arrives the moment you stop chasing it. So, come back to the breath. Feel it lift your chest. Feel it fall. No effort, no demand, just movement. Each breath is a doorway. Each pause between breaths is the quiet space where the world waits for you. When you stop forcing, you start feeling. When you stop running, you start noticing. The rhythm of the present moment has always been playing underneath the chaos. You just had to turn down the volume of control long enough to hear it. Think of it now, the way the night sounds when you finally listen. Maybe you hear the hum of the air, the faint pulse of your own body, the whisper of time moving gently forward. All of it happening without you having to command a thing. You were never meant to control the world. You were meant to belong to it, to breathe with it, to move as part of it. As you rest here, feel how everything continues on its own. Your breath, your heartbeat, the turning of the earth, life taking care of itself. This is where we're going next. Into that quiet space of presence, the place where control fades and awareness begins, where time dissolves and only now remains. So stay with me. Let the mind unclench. Let the body remember how to breathe without effort. Because peace isn't found in tomorrow. It's waiting for you here in this simple, perfect moment. Take a breath. Breath in, soft, almost silent. Feel it travel through you. Breath out, a long, slow release. Let the room around you come into focus. You don't need to move, just notice. The air rests gently on your skin. The night hums in its own stillness. Your body, for once, is allowed to be exactly as it is. Listen. Can you hear the faint sound beneath everything? Maybe it's the rhythm of your heart, steady, patient, ancient. Maybe it's the quiet whisper of the air conditioner, or the subtle ringing that fills the silence when everything else stops. Whatever it is, it's proof that this moment is alive, and you are inside it. There's no past here, no future. Only now, soft and alive. This moment doesn't ask you to fix anything. It doesn't care about the plans you've made or the mistakes you've carried. It simply holds you, like light holds the morning, like the ocean holds every ripple without choosing one to keep. Notice how the body softens when you give it permission to rest. Your shoulders drop a little. The muscles around your jaw loosen. The breath finds its own rhythm, rising and falling without your control. You are breathing, but not because you're trying to. It happens on its own, like a tide that keeps returning to shore, like the moon that keeps finding its way through clouds. The mind often lives in time, in the what-ifs, the should-haves, the endless movement between before and after. But your body, your breath, they live here, in the now, in the only place that truly exists. You can't breathe yesterday's air. You can't inhale tomorrow's peace. All you ever have and all you ever need is this inhale And this exhale, if you listen closely, you can feel how generous the present is. It gives without asking for attention. It keeps offering itself, moment after moment, even when you're too busy to notice. You don't have to chase stillness. You just have to stop running from it. The stillness is already here, beneath the noise, beneath the thoughts. It's waiting, patient as dawn, for you to remember. Notice your heartbeat again, not as a sound to control, but as a companion, a reminder that even in stillness, you are alive. The pulse of now. Every breath is a doorway, and you can step through it any time. No past to repair, no future to prepare. Only this warm air filling your chest, this softness in your limbs, this moment that holds you without condition. Stay here for a while. Let the now unfold around you like a blanket, nothing to chase, nothing to prove. Because peace isn't something you reach, it's something you return to. And you've already arrived. There's a thought from Eckhart Tolle that often drifts through the quiet. The mind lives in time, the soul lives in presence. It sounds simple, but it carries the weight of an entire way of being. The mind, busy, brilliant, restless, always needs a story to inhabit. It lives in what was and what could be. It flips through the pages of memory or tries to write the future before it's even begun. That's what the mind does. It measures, compares, plans, and worries. It builds timelines and then gets lost inside them. But the soul doesn't care about time. It doesn't need a calendar or a clock or a checklist to feel alive. It lives here in this breath, this heartbeat, this tiny shimmering slice of now. When you stop chasing the next moment, you begin to feel the miracle of this one. A Zen master once said, "When walking, walk. When eating, eat." That's the whole teaching, not 1,000 pages of philosophy, just presence. To the mind, that sounds almost too small, but to the soul, it's everything. Because here, in the immediacy of what is, there's no anxiety, no regret, no comparison, just experience. When you're fully here, even the simplest act becomes sacred. The way the air moves through your chest, the way light folds across the wall, the faint hum of the world continuing without your command. You don't have to make it happen. You only have to notice that it already is. The mind says, "I'll be free when." But presence says, "You are free now." That's the difference. Freedom isn't found in rearranging the future. It's found in releasing the grip of time, in allowing yourself to be exactly where you are, without wishing to be somewhere else. When you truly arrive here, you realize you've been running in circles, searching for a peace that never left you. It was simply buried beneath the noise of tomorrow. There is a deep stillness that appears when the mind stops rehearsing life and begins to live it. A space where you don't need to fix or plan. You just are. And in that being, you feel the quiet joy of existence itself, not the excitement of achievement, but the peace of alignment. Nothing missing, nothing extra. Here, there's no need to defend, no need to chase. You belong to the moment, and the moment belongs to you. This, right here, is the only place life ever happens. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought is born, lives, and fades within now. The mind may visit the past or future, but the soul, it never leaves home. It's always here, waiting patiently for you to return. And in that stillness, you discover the truth. The present isn't small, it's everything. Let's come back to the breath again. Breath in, breath out. No rush, no effort, just air moving in and out. With each inhale, feel the body expand, gentle, patient, alive. With each exhale, feel the world soften. Nothing to fix, nothing to chase. Quiet pause. Let go of the idea that you need to do this right. The breath has been finding its rhythm since before you tried to manage it. All you're doing now is noticing. Notice how the inhale lifts you. Notice how the exhale settles you back down. Every cycle is a tiny reminder that letting go is natural. You've been practicing it all your life. If thoughts appear, let them drift through like birds across an open sky. You don't need to hold or chase them. They arrive, they move, they fade on their own schedule. Bring your awareness to your body. Feel the weight of it resting against the bed, the chair, the floor. Gravity cradles you. You don't have to try to stay here. You are already held. Now, let the space around you widen. Imagine the walls melting into the air dissolving into the quiet beyond. You are part of that quiet. You're not separate from it. You are it. Every time you exhale, you give something back to the world. Every time you inhale, the world gives itself back to you. This is connection. This is presence. Nothing needs your control. Nothing needs your explanation. You are enough, exactly as you are. Breathing, existing, being. Let the breath carry you. Let the moment hold you. Let the stillness do the rest. Stay here, just a little longer. Breath in, breath out. Feel how different the world becomes when you stop trying to reach the next thing. Nothing has changed, and yet everything feels lighter. Presence has a way of softening the edges of life. It doesn't erase the noise or the ache. It simply gives them space to exist without taking over. You begin to realize that the peace you were searching for isn't something you earn. It's something that appears the moment you stop arguing with what is. This is where acceptance begins, not as surrender, but as a natural unfolding after presence. When you're truly here, you stop needing the world to be different in order to rest inside it. Acceptance isn't a decision, it's a discovery. It's what remains when resistance grows quiet, when the mind stops insisting, "This should not be happening," and whispers instead, "Maybe this too belongs." The body knows this truth. It breathes in what comes. It releases what goes. No struggle, no story, just flow. And somewhere deep within, you recognize the same rhythm in your heart, a pulse that meets life as it is. Soon, we'll step into this space more fully, into the art of acceptance. We'll learn how it feels to let things be, to rest in the middle of what's imperfect, to find beauty in what doesn't need to change. But for now, just notice the quiet clarity that presence brings. It's not empty, it's complete. And from that completeness, the next truth unfolds, softly, naturally, like breath following breath. There's a quiet misunderstanding about acceptance. Most of us grow up believing it means giving up, a kind of emotional surrender, a folding of the hands, a sigh that says, "I guess this is how it is." But true acceptance isn't about defeat. It's about trust. Trust that life, even when it doesn't follow your plan, is still moving towards something meaningful. Trust that you can rest, even when outcomes are uncertain. Trust that peace doesn't depend on control. Acceptance isn't resignation, it's trust. And trust is active. It asks you to open your hands, not drop them. It asks you to stay present, even when you'd rather turn away. Think of a tree standing in a storm. It bends, but it doesn't collapse. It sways with the wind, not because it's weak, but because it understands something deep about survival. Resistance breaks, flexibility endures. When you accept what is, you aren't saying, "I don't care." You're saying, "I care enough to meet this moment as it is, without forcing it to be something else." You're choosing peace over perfection, presence over performance. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what's happening. It means you stop fighting reality long enough to see clearly. It means allowing the truth of now to exist without needing to rewrite it. You can still wish for change. You can still work towards something better. But when you accept, your effort comes from harmony, not struggle, from alignment, not resistance. Imagine holding a smooth stone in your palm. You don't need to squeeze it to feel it. You just let it rest there, solid, real, present. That's what acceptance feels like. A quiet holding of what is true, without the need to reshape it. And in that quiet holding, something remarkable happens. The heart begins to relax. The mind stops spinning. What once felt unbearable becomes breathable. This is not giving up. It's waking up to the gentle art of letting life be what it already is, and trusting that you are still whole within it. Hey, you've been so hard on yourself, haven't you? You replay the moments you wish had gone differently. You measure yourself against versions of who you think you should be. You keep trying to prove to yourself, to others, maybe even to life itself, that you're enough. But let me tell you something that you rarely hear. Something your mind might resist at first, but your heart already knows. You don't need to be perfect to be at peace. You've carried the weight of expectation for so long, expectation to be stronger, wiser, calmer, better. But what if peace doesn't come from improvement? What if it comes from gentleness? There's a small voice in your head, the critic, always pointing out what could have been done differently, what wasn't said right, what still needs fixing. That voice sounds convincing because it's afraid. It believes that if you let your guard down, you'll fall apart. But you won't. You've survived every difficult thing you thought you couldn't. You've walked through storms that were supposed to break you, and yet here you are, breathing, listening, still becoming. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply human, learning, adjusting, unfolding, and that is enough. When the inner critic starts whispering, when it tells you you're not doing enough, not being enough, you can whisper back softly, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm safe now." Because that's all the critic ever wanted, safety. It learned to judge you as a way to control pain. But tonight, you don't need protection. You need rest. You can let that voice soften. You can let the words untangle. You can let kindness take their place. Imagine, for a moment, holding your own heart in your hands, not to fix it, not to change it, just to hold it. It beats for you, even when you forget to notice. It forgives you before you even ask. That's who you really are. Not the voice that critiques, but the presence that listens beneath it. When you stop demanding perfection, peace sneaks in like light under a closed door. You don't have to open the door all the way. Just a crack is enough. Peace doesn't rush. It waits for permission. So, give yourself that permission now. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to prove your worth tonight. You can rest exactly as you are. Tired, imperfect, real. Because the heart doesn't need perfection to find stillness. It only needs permission to be. And when you grant that permission, you begin to hear a softer truth whispering beneath the noise. You were never unworthy. You were only unconvinced. And now, you can start believing. Close your eyes. Let your imagination open just a little. Picture a quiet place, somewhere safe, somewhere soft. Maybe it's a meadow under starlight, or a small room filled with warm light and silence. This is a place where nothing is expected of you. You don't have to perform here. You only have to arrive. Now, imagine a door opening in front of you. Through it walks someone you recognize, a smaller version of you. Not an idea, not a memory. You, the child who once laughed easily, who once believed that love required nothing. They stand there, hesitant, watching you. Their eyes carry every moment you've ever tried to forget, every fear, every failure, every quiet loneliness. But look closely, they're still beautiful, still you. Kneel down and meet them at eye level. Reach out your hand. Feel how small and trembling theirs is inside your palm. They're waiting for you to say something. Not advice, not correction, just truth. So you whisper, softly, slowly, "It's okay now." Watch their shoulders loosen. Watch the worry that once lived in their face begin to fade. Tell them again, if you need to, "It's okay now." You don't have to try so hard. You were always enough. Let the words travel through you too, because they're for both of you. You can feel something softening inside, a gentle crack in the wall of self-judgment. Compassion seeps through the opening like light. Compassion is a doorway to calm. It doesn't erase the past. It transforms your relationship with it. Every hurt you ever carried was just a younger version of yourself asking for love. And tonight, you're finally answering. Hold that younger self close to your heart. Feel their heartbeat against yours, a perfect echo. Tell them they don't have to earn anything to belong. Tell them you're sorry for the years you didn't listen. Tell them you're here now. Notice how forgiveness feels in your body, not as a burst of emotion, but as a steady release, like a knot untying in the chest. This is peace arriving from the inside out. You and your younger self sit together for a moment, breathing the same air, sharing the same quiet. Nothing to fix, nothing to prove. Just two versions of the same heart, finally reunited. When you're ready, let the child fade gently back into light. They smile before they go, and you realize the smile was always yours to begin with. Now there's only you, lighter, softer, whole. You've made peace with a part of your story, and in that peace, you find a quiet truth whispering back to you. It was never too late. It's okay now. Acceptance is not the end of the story. It's the point where stillness begins to move again. When you stop resisting life, you start to feel its rhythm. The same current that once felt like chaos now feels like guidance. What once seemed random begins to flow with quiet purpose. Acceptance reveals movement, because peace is never static. It breathes, it expands, it evolves. And when you accept, you begin to sense that life has always been moving with you, not against you. Think about how the ocean never stays still, even on calm days. The surface shifts, light dances, waves drift. The tide keeps time with the moon. You could call that change. But maybe it's simply life being alive. When we stop demanding that the water freeze, we start to see its beauty in motion. Acceptance isn't just a pause, it's a turning point. It softens the grip of fear so the change can enter without feeling like loss. Because change isn't the enemy of peace. Resistance is. Everything you've accepted tonight, every flaw, every memory, every piece of yourself, will keep moving, reshaping, becoming something new. That's the nature of existence. Nothing stays. Nothing is meant to. And that's not tragedy. It's grace. When you learn to let life move through you, you realize that every ending carries a beginning. Every goodbye leaves space for another hello. Every fall teaches you how to rise more gently. This is where we're headed next, into the quiet dance of transformation, into the understanding that change doesn't take your peace away, it reveals it. Let yourself feel that movement now, the subtle hum beneath stillness, the pulse of life that never stopped flowing. Acceptance was your doorway. Change is the journey beyond it. Heraclitus once said, "You cannot step into the same river twice, because the water is always flowing, and so are you. Everything changes. Every breath you take carries you into a slightly different world. Even now, the body you inhabit is not the same as the one you had yesterday. Cells shifting, blood moving, time passing through you like a tide that never rests. All things flow, including joy, including pain, including you. Change is not a punishment, it's the nature of existence. To be alive is to move, to grow, to shed what no longer belongs. And yet, we fear it, because it reminds us how fragile we are, how little we can hold. But maybe impermanence isn't a thief. Maybe it's a teacher. It teaches us that beauty is not found in what lasts forever, but in what passes and still manages to shine before it goes. Think about the sunset, how it paints the world in gold for only a moment, and then gives that light back to the dark. It doesn't apologize for ending, it simply fulfills its purpose and disappears into tomorrow. We, too, are like that. Every version of ourselves appears, blooms, and fades. The child, the dreamer, the lover, the one who tries so hard. Each comes to teach us something. Each must leave when its lesson is done. Heraclitus wasn't warning us, he was inviting us to see that life's constant change is not chaos, it's choreography. Every shift, every loss, every transformation is part of a pattern too vast for the mind to see, but too perfect for the heart to deny. The pain you feel today will change. The joy you feel tomorrow will change. The only thing that doesn't change is the fact that everything does. And hidden inside that truth is peace, because when you accept the flow, you stop drowning in it. You are not separate from the river. You are the river. And every moment of your life is water passing through your hands. Imagine a river, clear, steady, alive. The air is cool, the light soft. You kneel by the bank and watch a single leaf drift by. It's small, a deep amber color, thin and delicate, the kind of leaf that has already lived its season. It spins gently as it floats, caught in tiny ripples, turning, gliding, resting, always moving forward. The leaf doesn't resist. It doesn't try to steer itself. It doesn't fight the current or demand to return to the branch it once called home. It simply goes where the water goes. And in that surrender, there is grace. The river carries it over pebbles and under fallen twigs. Sometimes the flow is swift. Sometimes the water slows to a lazy drift. But the leaf never panics, never clings to the shore in fear of what comes next. It moves with the current, because that's all it's ever known. You watch it for a while, mesmerized by its quiet courage. It doesn't need control to find its way. It trusts the river completely, and somehow, that trust becomes a kind of wisdom. How often have you tried to be the opposite, to fight the current, to demand that the water follow your direction? And every time you do, you end up tired, pulled under by your own resistance. But what if peace isn't in holding on? What if it's in floating? The leaf doesn't need to know where the river leads. It doesn't need a map or a reason. It belongs because it flows. And maybe that's the only belonging that truly matters, to move in rhythm with life itself. Sometimes the current quickens, carrying the leaf through shallow rapids that sparkle in the light. Sometimes the water deepens into a slow, shadowed pool. Still, the leaf remains gentle, never afraid of change, never mistaking motion for danger. You realize, watching it, that this is what letting go looks like in nature. Not apathy, not loss, but trust. A quiet faith that wherever the river goes, it's okay to follow. The leaf drifts farther now, smaller, smaller, until it's just a speck of color folding into the shimmer of the current. But somehow, it doesn't feel like it's gone. It feels like it's become part of everything. The river, the light, the endless flow. As you stand by the water, you realize the leaf never lost anything. It simply changed form, just like you will, again and again, in the quiet rhythm of being alive. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the river again, calm, patient, endless. Now ask yourself, what part of your life have you been holding against the current? Maybe it's a plan that didn't unfold the way you hoped. Maybe it's a version of yourself you keep trying to return to. Maybe it's a person, or a dream, or a moment that feels too heavy to release. You don't have to answer right away. Just feel where the resistance lives in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest, a weight behind your eyes, a quiet ache in your heart that whispers, "Not yet. I'm not ready to let go." You're not alone in that feeling. Every human being wrestles with change. We're built to seek comfort, to cling to what feels familiar, even when that familiarity begins to hurt. But here's a thought. What if change isn't something to fear, but the proof you're alive? Every breath is change. Every sunrise rearranges the world just a little. Even your heartbeat, the constant rhythm that keeps you here, is a pattern of motion and rest. Motion and rest. Change isn't chaos. It's continuity. It's life reminding you that stillness and movement can coexist. The pain of change often comes not from the change itself, but from the resistance to it, from the mind's insistence that things should stay the same. But nothing that grows ever stays the same. The tree sheds its leaves to make room for spring. The tide pulls back so it can return again. You, too, are part of that rhythm. Ask yourself gently, what if I stopped fighting the current? What if I trusted that the river knows where it's going? What if the things I'm losing aren't punishments, but invitations to become someone softer, wiser, freer? When you see change as movement instead of threat, the world starts to feel lighter. You begin to recognize endings not as failures, but as spaces where something new can breathe. So tonight, instead of asking, how do I stop this from changing? Try whispering, how can I move with it? Because maybe you were never meant to control the river. Maybe you were meant to float, to trust that wherever it carries you, you will find yourself again. Change isn't here to take from you. It's here to remind you that you're alive, still flowing, still feeling, still becoming. So here we are, standing beside the river, watching it move, feeling it move through us. You've seen how everything flows, how nothing stays the same for long. And maybe, as you sit with that truth, you can feel something new stirring inside you. A quiet awareness rising, not in the mind, but in the heart. If everything changes, then love must too. Not because love fades, but because it moves. It shifts, stretches, deepens, transforms, like the river itself. The love you felt years ago, the love you hold now, the love you'll give someday. None of it is lost. It's simply different water flowing through the same current. Love is the most beautiful expression of impermanence. It arrives as spark, grows into flame, and sometimes turns to embers. But even when the fire changes form, the warmth it leaves behind never truly disappears. We tend to fear change most when it touches love. We call it heartbreak, or loss, or distance. But what if it's not ending, just evolution? Love that stays rigid breaks easily, but love that moves, that allows people, seasons, and hearts to shift, that's the kind that lasts beyond form. Think of the river again. When it bends, it doesn't mourn the straight path it once had. It simply turns, following what's natural. Love is like that. It bends toward what life needs next. So let this understanding sink deeper into you. You don't lose love by letting it change. You lose it by trying to make it stay the same. If everything flows, then love flows too. And maybe that's what makes it sacred, not its permanence, but its willingness to keep becoming. The river keeps moving, and now, so does the heart. To let go with love is to free both yourself and what you hold. We've spoken of control, of acceptance, of the river that never stops moving. But here, in the quiet space of the heart, letting go takes on a different meaning. It's no longer about ideas. It's about people, memories, the pieces of us that ache when they're asked to move on. Letting go with love doesn't mean forgetting. It means softening your grasp around what was beautiful, but no longer belongs to this moment. It means honoring the connection, the lesson, the tenderness, without trying to make it stay. There are relationships that end before we're ready, dreams that dissolve quietly in our hands, goodbyes we never wanted to say, expectations that never turned into reality. These are the small griefs we carry, not dramatic, not loud, but heavy in the heart's hidden corners. Sometimes, the hardest thing isn't losing someone or something. It's losing the future you imagined with them, the story you kept writing in your mind, the version of life where everything finally made sense. And when that vision fades, you feel unanchored, as if part of you is still standing in the past, waiting for what won't return. But love, true love, isn't a chain. It's not meant to bind or trap or demand. It's meant to move freely, to breathe, to transform. To love someone or something deeply means to accept that they are not yours to keep, only yours to cherish while they pass through your life. And that truth hurts, doesn't it? Because the mind says, if I let go, I'll lose them. But the heart whispers, if you hold too tightly, you'll lose yourself. Letting go with love doesn't erase the past. It releases it into peace. It says, thank you for being here, even if only for a while. It turns grief into gratitude. When you let go through love, you stop closing your heart to protect it and start opening it to allow healing. Because love, even in loss, is what keeps the heart alive. There was once a monk who lived at the edge of a mountain temple. Each morning, he would tend to a single flower that grew beside his window, a small white bloom that opened at dawn and closed at dusk. He loved this flower, not with attachment, but with presence. He greeted it every morning as if for the first time. He would pour water gently at its roots, brush away fallen dust from its petals, and whisper words of gratitude as sunlight began to warm the air. It wasn't just a flower to him. It was a reminder, a quiet companion in his daily meditation on life's impermanence. One morning, as the season began to turn, the monk noticed the flower had begun to fade. Its petals curled at the edges, its color dimmed. Its once upright stem leaned softly toward the earth. He watched in silence. He didn't rush to save it. He didn't water it in panic or whisper words of denial. He simply sat beside it, breathing. A young novice, passing by, stopped and asked, "Master, aren't you sad? The flower you cared for is dying." The monk smiled, his eyes gentle but bright. "No," he said softly. "It is doing what all beautiful things do. It is completing its purpose." The novice frowned. "Completing its purpose?" "Yes," the monk said. "To bloom was its gift. To fade is its teaching." He reached out, touching one of the wilted petals lightly. "Look," he said, "how fragile it is, and yet how perfect in that fragility. It reminds me that life's beauty depends on its passing. If this flower were to last forever, I might stop noticing it. I might forget how precious it is to see it at all." The novice sat beside him. Together they watched as the last petal loosened, lifted by the wind, and drifted quietly into the air. The monk smiled again, not with sadness, but with peace. "This," he said, "is how love becomes wisdom. You do not love to keep, you love to witness. And when what you love changes, you bow to its transformation." The young novice sat silently, feeling something deep inside him soften. He looked at the flower's empty stem, and somehow, it no longer felt empty. It felt complete. The monk stood, folded his hands, and whispered, Beauty exists because it ends. And love endures because we let it go. Letting go is often mistaken for detachment, but detachment is a closing, a wall, a numbness, a quiet refusal to feel. True letting go is the opposite. It's a full-hearted freedom. It's standing in love without needing to own. It's feeling everything deeply, but without the ache of control. It's allowing life to move through you. Joy, sorrow, hope, loss, and trusting that every emotion belongs. When the monk watched the flower wilt, he wasn't detached. He was profoundly present. He didn't turn away from beauty's ending. He bowed to it because he understood that love is not the act of clinging, but of witnessing. Love is not possession. Love is participation. It's the willingness to be moved by something fragile, to hold it in your heart without trapping it in your hands. Rumi once wrote, "Love is the bridge between you and everything, and that bridge is built not from certainty, but from surrender, from the willingness to keep your heart open even when it trembles." When you love freely, you realize that the world is not separate from you. Every breath, every person, every fleeting moment is another thread in the same living tapestry. You are not standing apart from life. You are woven into it. That's why letting go doesn't break connection. It deepens it. It turns love from something that tries to hold into something that learns to flow. Detachment says, "I don't care." Letting go says, "I care so much that I won't confine you." Detachment hardens the heart. Letting go softens it, because the heart's natural state is openness. It was never meant to clutch or cage. When you let it breathe, it becomes vast, capable of holding joy and sorrow, beginnings and endings, without collapsing under their weight. To love like this takes courage. It asks you to step onto that invisible bridge Rumi spoke of, where you can no longer see where it leads. Only trust that it carries you closer to everything real. You'll lose things along the way, versions of yourself, people you've cherished, dreams that have changed shape. But you'll also gain something profound. The knowing that love was never meant to stay still. Love grows by moving. It changes form, but not essence. And when you let it move through you freely, it keeps you connected to the pulse of existence itself. Letting go isn't detachment, it's devotion. It's the quiet prayer that says, "I will love you even as you change. I will love this life, even as it moves beyond what I understand." When you love something enough to release it, you become vast, like the sky that holds the clouds. The clouds come and go. They change shape. They disappear. They return again. But the sky never clings. It allows every cloud to pass, and because of that, it remains whole. That's what your heart becomes when you let love move freely. It no longer breaks with every loss. It expands. It learns to hold joy and sorrow together, the way the horizon holds both dawn and dusk. When you stop clinging, you don't lose love. You discover its true size. Love that needs to stay small becomes fragile. Love that's allowed to breathe becomes eternal. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet spaciousness opening in your chest, the place where holding on once lived, and now there is simply air. Peace doesn't arrive with silence. It arrives with space. You've spent so much of your life trying to protect love, to keep it safe, to keep it certain. But love never needed protection. It needed permission to flow, to change, to keep teaching you how to open. The sky doesn't fear the storm. It welcomes it, because it knows the storm will pass and leave the air clear again. In the same way, you can trust that every wave of emotion, every goodbye, every transformation will pass through you and leave your heart more open than before. When you release what you love, you don't push it away. You bless it. You say, "Go where you need to go. I will love you still." And in that moment, you become the sky, the witness, the space, the quiet vastness that holds everything without needing to keep it. Because peace isn't the absence of love. It's love without fear. You were never meant to hold everything. You were meant to feel it, to touch, to notice, to let it move through you, but not to carry it all. For so long, you've tried to hold life together, to manage the chaos, to keep every piece from falling apart. But life doesn't need your control to unfold. It only needs your trust. Look at the world around you. Nothing struggles to exist. The trees don't force their leaves to grow. The ocean doesn't command its waves. The stars don't hold themselves in place. And yet everything happens perfectly, quietly, effortlessly. That same rhythm lives in you. The same intelligence that moves the tides moves your breath, your heartbeat, your unfolding path. You were never meant to control the rhythm, only to join it, to dance in it, to rest in it, to trust its timing. Maybe that's what surrender really is. Not giving up, but giving in. Leaning into the current instead of fighting it. Allowing life to be what it already is, without needing it to obey you. When you stop trying to hold everything, you begin to notice how everything holds you. The air, the gravity, the quiet turning of the earth, all of it carrying you, even when you forget to feel it. Peace doesn't arrive when life stops changing. It arrives when you stop demanding that it do so. When you exhale and whisper to the universe, "I trust you." And maybe, just maybe, that trust is what you've been searching for all along. Tonight, you don't have to fix anything. You don't have to figure it out. You don't even have to understand. All you have to do is rest in the truth that life is still moving, and it knows exactly where to go. You were never meant to hold everything. You were only meant to let go. Listen to the ocean. Each wave a thought rising and falling. Each crest a moment of awareness. Each retreat a return to silence. You are lying beside the shore now. The night is soft, the air mild and full of salt. The moon casts its silver path across the water, and for a long moment, you simply breathe with the sea. A wave forms in the distance, a thought, perhaps, something you remembered, something unfinished. It swells gently, takes shape in your mind. You notice it without judgment. You watch it rise, light catching its surface. And then you watch it fall. The water returns to stillness. The thought returns to silence. This is the nature of the mind. Movement on the surface, stillness beneath. You are not the waves. You are the ocean, vast, deep, silent. The waves will always come. You can't stop them. But beneath their motion is something untouched, unmoving. That's you. the awareness that notices without being carried away. Let your body become that ocean now, fluid and weightless. Let your breath move like the tide, in and out. No hurry, no effort, just the rhythm of being alive. When a wave of memory rises, smile at it. When a wave of worry appears, let it crest and fade. Nothing stays. Everything flows. Notice the stillness beneath it all, the quiet depth that does not move. This is where peace lives. This is where you rest. You are vast enough to hold every wave without breaking. You are strong enough to let them go without fear. Because you were never the wave, you were always the water. The surface shifts, the depth remains. Thoughts rise and fall. Awareness stays. The moon moves across the sky and the tide whispers, "You don't have to try anymore. Just be." Let the waves do what they do. Let the mind think. Let life move. You, the ocean beneath it all, remain vast, calm, infinite. And as you rest in that stillness, you realize surrender was never about drowning. It was about remembering that you are the sea. Let your breath be the tide, drifting you deeper into rest. Each inhale, the sea rising to greet the moon. Each exhale, the sea sighing back to silence. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Only this soft movement between breath and stillness. You are lying within the ocean of night. Its darkness is not empty. It's warm, gentle, protective, like the arms of something vast that has been holding you all along. The body softens. The mind loosens its grip. Thoughts become ripples, light on water, fading as they touch the surface. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to stop them. Just let them drift away like shells carried by the tide. Now feel the weight of your body, how it rests on the earth, how the earth supports you without asking for anything in return. You are safe to let go. You are safe to rest. The air around you is cool and still. Your heartbeat slows. Your hands grow heavy and warm. Every muscle releases its story. There is no past to fix, no future to control. Only this moment, quiet and complete. Let your breath be the tide, rising and falling, rising and falling, carrying you deeper with each gentle wave. The mind floats now, loose, weightless, like a leaf on the surface of sleep. Every sound becomes part of the sea. Every breath becomes the ocean breathing through you. And beneath that motion, a stillness so vast it holds everything. That stillness is you, the unchanging depth beneath every wave. Let the edges of your awareness blur now. The room fades. The walls fade. You are floating in darkness that is not empty but full of peace, full of light, full of rest. You can trust this darkness. It's the same darkness the earth rests in each night. It's the space between stars where everything sleeps and everything is reborn. Let go of the day. Let go of the names, the faces, the stories. They will wait for you when morning comes. For now, there is only breath, only tide, only the quiet freedom of surrender. The body rests, the mind drifts, the heart is open and still. You are the ocean. You are the sky. You are the space where everything comes to rest. You are safe now. The day has released its hold. The thoughts have quieted. The body knows what to do, how to rest, how to heal, how to breathe. You don't need to try anymore. You don't need to solve or control. Everything that needs to move will move. Everything that needs to rest will rest. Tonight, you have practiced the oldest art, the art of letting go. And even if it felt small, even if it felt imperfect, it has already begun. Because every time you breathe, you release something, a moment, a thought, a tiny piece of yesterday. And life flows forward through that release. The universe is still turning, the waves are still moving, and you are part of that rhythm, held, supported, gently carried by what you no longer need to hold. Let your final thought tonight be gratitude for the strength it takes to soften, for the courage it takes to surrender, for the peace that's always waiting underneath. You are safe now. You can rest. The art of letting go has already begun.